I'm here on the Loyola University Chicago Intercampus Shuttle Bus, where everyone on here and I will share the same ride to the same destination, but that's about the only thing we'll share. Just a few feet away from one another, yet everyone is plugged into their digital worlds, rejecting what's right in front of them, rejecting the opportunity to connect. Welcome to Connect, a new talk show exploring the human connection, or lack thereof. I'm your host, Vanesa Hoxha, and as you just saw, people are glued to their phones, just missing the chance to connect. But what happens to a student who gives up her phone for 24 hours? We'll tell you. Next, a live interview with students who started college before, during, and after COVID-19. We'll look at the impact the pandemic had on their ability to connect. Also, it seems like the pandemic affected more than just students. If you're an online shopper, when's the last time you went into a store and bought something? We'll explore some online shopping habits post-pandemic. Later in the show, our correspondents go in depth on human connection with study abroad students, citizen journalism, and artificial intelligence. Now, Connect correspondent Amelia Villhauer will explore the phone habits of students at Loyola University Chicago.
What is your screen time?
My screen time is 5 hours and 18 minutes.
4 hours and 42 minutes.
My screen time is around 7 hours.
Last time I checked, I'm almost certain it was like 9 hours. It was really bad. eight and a half hour average.
9 hours, 9.5 hours daily.
My screen time is probably 8 hours.
3 hours and 10 minutes is my daily average, but I am up 15% from last week, so.
And can I ask you, what is your most used app?
Probably Instagram or Spotify.
It is photos.
Definitely YouTube.
TikTok. Perfect. Me too. I did 5 hours on TikTok, so.
YouTube, it's like more than half my time.
Definitely TikTok.
Instagram, okay, I'm very close second is a TikTok, so, you know.
Hi, I'm Connect correspondent Jessica Martens. As you know, our show is all about how our generation connects. And it's no secret that cell phones and social media have become if not the primary form of communication for Gen Z. But I wanted to see what it would be like to take that away from somebody for a day. Loyola Junior Olivia Malden was up for the challenge and agreed to give up texting, calling, FaceTiming, and social media for a whole 24 hours. I sat down with Olivia at the beginning of the 24 hours to discuss her typical phone habits and how she was feeling going into the challenge.
I feel like I text a lot. It's like my number one, that I am in a relationship, and therefore and it's long distance at the moment, so it's like I text, I call, I FaceTime, typically for a few hours a day, just to communicate with that person. Those are like the main things. I reached out to like my parents, my girlfriend, and then a couple of my closest friends, and was like, hey, I'm not gonna be on my phone today. I'm definitely anxious about like tonight, because I think that it is common that kids in our generation rarely sit down and like slow down and like sit with the way that they think and stuff like that. And like I said, I started out this morning by like trying not to be on my phone, and from the get-go I was kind of sitting there eating breakfast and I was like, my brain is really loud, and that's scary. I kind of also am making this like a challenge to myself, because it is something I typically I see technology as a thing that at its core is probably very damaging to us as humans, and so I kind of wanted to challenge myself today to stay away from almost all forms of like immediate gratification.
We'll be back later to check in on Olivia, but for now, I'm Jessica Martens for Connect, and back to Vanessa in the studio.
Thanks, Jessica. We are here now with our live studio audience to learn more about their online shopping habits. So, by a show of hands, how many of you have food delivery apps installed on your phone? Everyone but 2. That's quite a few. And you do as well. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Ejzak.
So, Sally, tell us which food delivery app is your favorite and why?
Let me think about that for a second. I can only think of 2 food delivery apps off the top of my head. One of them is Uber Eats, and the other one I can't even remember anymore. So Uber Eats would have to be the one that I choose as my favorite.
Another question. Would you see yourself ordering online more than going into a store or restaurant and getting food there?
I kind of like the personal experience. I like to talk to people, so I'd probably go inside and order food, or I'd probably go into a store to purchase things. I do the occasional online shopping. Yeah, I'm guilty, but yeah, I'd say I'm a more in-person kind of guy.
Well, to show us more about how these online shopping apps impact the human connection, here is correspondent Alyssa Suarez.
Simple, fast, and convenient. No one can deny that online shopping is rapidly growing following the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Many users flock the apps to order food from the comfort of their own homes. But how does the increase of online delivery services affect the day-to-day connection with people? Tap the link below to find out more. Order, eat, sleep, repeat. A routine many people experience while using online applications to buy food. The convenience and speed entices users to order and pay more, with the app options increasing by the day.
I say I use it pretty frequently, probably like 2 times a week.
DoorDash is my favorite right now. It's cheaper, it's more convenient. My orders usually come correct. I really don't have no missing items. You get discounts, you get a lot of coupons and stuff like that. So I just really like how their company is rolling right now. I use DoorDash a lot during the pandemic because a lot of grocery stores was running out of food because people was looting the grocery stores and everything. So DoorDash and Uber Eats was mainly like the go-to for me to get food and get everything that I needed.
For food delivery, it's Uber Eats. It's actually not cheaper, but it's convenient.
My husband and I, we teamed up. He would do the driving mostly. I would do the navigating and picking the orders. As the pandemic people start going out more, they start tipping less, actually.
TikTok's newest shopping feature, TikTok Shop, allows creators from all around the world and all ages to promote their local business. I sat down with TikTok Shop seller Annie Leal to talk about her experiences with the app and the success of her business.
I was born and raised in Monterrey, Mexico, and I grew up eating Mexican candy. That was like the staple. And so did my dad. And soon after we moved to America, he was diagnosed with diabetes, and it just kind of changed his whole life. I was kind of shocked that in all these years he hadn't found a sugar-free Mexican candy, and I decided to make it. I love social media. It's such a privilege to be able to talk to your customers directly. Back in the day, marketing was so one-sided. Social media is I'm able to get so many ideas and feedback and constructive criticism.
What is it about TikTok Shop that you find better than other platforms?
I always think like the easiest that you can make it for somebody to purchase, the better. So before TikTok Shop became a thing, somebody would see a video on TikTok and then they would go to Amazon and search for it. They would go to link in bio and click. The fact that you don't have to leave the app is the genius part of TikTok Shop. As the brand, I can't see people's addresses.
One thing to choose when you connect with people, but what happens when you don't have that choice? Connect correspondent Chloe Morrissey takes a look at how connections can be disrupted when a pandemic hits. Alyssa Suarez, Connect correspondent.
It all started in 2020, when the global COVID-19 pandemic changed life as we knew it. We were placed in a lockdown, quarantining, and told to stay at least 6 feet apart from one another, limiting any human connection that was once a part of everyday life. Schools and work moved online, forcing some students to enter what was supposed to be the best time of their lives virtually. 3 students are here to share their stories of what it was like to be a freshman in college before, during, and after the pandemic.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe Morrissey and I'm joined here today with Josh Lee and Rachel Wexler. Rachel, I want to start with you. You were a freshman, 2021, COVID was still very present, classes were meeting online, Loyola was still under a mask mandate. What was it like being a freshman on top of all of that?
Honestly, I felt kind of prepared because it hit me in high school, so by the time I got to college, I was accustomed to the mask. It was still a burden. None of us liked it, but we kind of got through. It made it a lot harder to kind of know the people in my class. Like, we'd be on Zoom and I'd see their face for the first time. I didn't know what they looked like. It'd be hard to honestly just like meet them in general, so it made it harder to get deeper connections with people in my class. But I don't know, I feel like it just had a disconnect in general, but I felt like I was used to it from high school.
Were you able to establish any real solid relationships during this time, either with classmates or professors meeting virtually?
I think it was harder with professors because everything was online on Zoom, even like office hours or whatever they like could accommodate.
Josh, I want to turn it over to you now. You're a freshman this year. So exciting. What has your experience been like? COVID's pretty much gone. The world has basically gone back to normal.
Honestly, it's been really fun. It's super easy, smooth transition from high school to college. It's been easy to make like friends. A lot of floor activities, you know, meeting these people in person really helps a lot.
Do you notice a difference connecting with people now versus pre-pandemic when you were in high school?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to connect. Like I said, there was a, you know, kind of like a silent barrier, kind of like in the background, something that like, you know, during COVID, it wasn't as hard, but it was harder to make friends because, you know, you can't really talk to them in person. You can't like give them hugs. So yeah, but coming here with no like COVID restrictions and stuff like that, it's been a lot easier. Yeah.
Do you think the pandemic for both of you has changed the way that you go about meeting new people now and connecting with people?
Yeah, for me, I'm a little bit more aware of, you know, like if they want to hug, if they want to like, you know, shake hands, like washing hands, like wearing masks. Yeah, so it's just a little bit more aware about like what people prefer.
Rachel, do you want to give a quick insight to that?
I think it's more negative than positive, but I think with technology and social media and stuff like that, we've found a way around it and we've just kind of adapted. But yeah, we definitely see the negative side effects as well.
Two very different experiences and such a crazy time that all of us lived through. Thank you both so much for joining me today, and we'll turn it back over to Vanessa.
Now here to check in with Olivia from our Phone Free Challenge to see how she's doing without her phone.
Welcome back to our phone-free check-in, where we see how Olivia was feeling throughout her day and clips that she filmed herself.
Okay, so I just got home from campus, so I thought I would make another video with just a little bit of an update about how the day's gone. I ended up doodling because I didn't know what else to do. I felt quite bored, and I thought that was really interesting because I cannot remember the last time I picked up a pen and paper when I was bored. I'm now about to go meet up with a friend. We attempted to make plans about where to meet up and when, at what time, yesterday, and so I'm just hoping that that works. Okay, so now I'm having a very odd experience, which I didn't expect. I started to like try to clean my room and I feel like I can't. I feel like I can't until I like pick up my phone. My brain is just continuing to go back to my phone.
That was our second phone-free check-in. I'm Jessica Martens for Connect, and now back to Vanessa in the studio.
Joining me is Connect reporter Ella Munnelly to discuss citizen journalism and its impact. Ella, citizen journalism has played a major role in how we get our news, but it isn't without controversy.
Vanessa, with people turning to social media to get news, it is important to analyze what kind of information is posted and shared on social media platforms. Social media has a high concentration of citizen journalism. Citizen journalism is defined as a form of journalism that is reliant on the public playing an active role in the process of collecting, reporting, analyzing, and disseminating news and information. It is created by the audience for the audience. Many of the videos often published are filmed from sidewalks, windows, and balconies. Video has become a central and organic part of citizen journalism. It is important to always do your own research when receiving news online. Citizen journalism helps people keep connected to what is important to them and remains a powerful tool for many.
Thanks, Ella. Well, staying international, here we have Amelia Villhauer to talk about study abroad students and their human connection.
So far in our show, we've had the chance to explore how different connections are impacted, from things such as COVID to online shopping. But what happens to those connections when they're taken overseas? Today I'm here to talk to a couple of college students about their time studying abroad, and if things like language barriers to cultural differences got in the way of those relationships. I sat down with Loyola senior Nina Elsner to talk about her time abroad in Spain.
So I think the biggest difference for me was that at Loyola, I mainly made my connections through my classes. So a lot of times, like I would, meet people in my class, just talk to them about different subjects, what professors they'd taken, that sort of thing. Versus while I was in Spain, it was mainly people who I was going to social events with, or I was found living next to me in the dorm or something like that. Versus most of the time I found the people in my classes to be a little more professional and to kind of be going there more just for the education rather than for any social activity. I think the best advice I can give is just be honest about who you are, open up that you are an exchange student, you're not super comfortable in the language, and people will really, really try to be accommodating. I think we tend to kind of go into a situation where we're going to struggle to communicate with this fear that nobody's going to want to communicate with us. But I found that being an American in Europe was like a really cool thing for a lot of people. They were really interested to ask me questions about all sorts of things. I remember at one point I had some of my friends just ask me like, what is the Electoral College? And then listen super attentively while I told them all about it for 15 minutes or so. So it was just a lot of situations where I think just being an American was something innately interesting, and people are really, really willing to put in the effort to either try to kind of communicate more through hand signals and simpler language to try to make sure that they can have a conversation with you.
Then I sat with Loyola junior Vishnu Siva, who told me about her time studying abroad in England.
So I can start off with London. There was really no language barrier being in the UK. But I think traveling to each country, there was that barrier of a language. Ireland, Scotland, there was a lot of people speaking English, but once you went into like the villages or more nature's places, people were speaking the language that they did. So I think there's a lot of diversity within Europe. I think it's definitely interesting to see the connections that they make with the way that they dress and the style. It definitely comes together and it's really nice. I think Europe in general is a very touristy continent. So being able to explore the countries, they knew that we were tourists, but it was never like, oh, why are you visiting this country? It was just, we're happy that you're here. If you need any questions, we're here to help. And everyone was very kind and friendly. So traveling abroad was just a great experience, and I'm going to recommend it for anyone who wants to do it. It doesn't really matter what country you're going to go to, because you're going to make connections really easily, whether it be with individuals or just the culture and atmosphere that you're going into.
Now that we've had the international perspective of things, let's continue with the show to see more ways our connections are impacted. Amelia Villhauer, Connect News.
Earlier, we had our audience fill out a survey asking if they have or want to study abroad. So let's take a look at the results that we have here. So 22.2% have studied abroad. So we do have some international folks in the audience. 33.3% have not studied abroad, but 44.4% of our audience members are planning to study abroad or want to. So we have those folks in the audience. Well, we've discussed our connections overseas. Now Connect reporter Najla Edwards explores our growing connection with AI.
Hi, I'm Najla Edwards with Connect. In what seems like overnight, artificial intelligence, or AI, has taken the world by storm. It's become especially popular in professional and educational spaces. But how does it exist in social spaces? Social media platform Snapchat released its My AI feature on February 27th of 2023. My AI is a chatbot that users can communicate with in the same way they would with a real person. However, this feature has caused controversy among users since the release date. Many are concerned about the AI having access to their location, posting things without their permission, and so on. On the other hand, this feature gives people a new way to connect with the world around them.
I think that it's going to definitely disrupt marketing, analytics, data science, journalism even. I feel like a lot of publications, social media jobs, anything that has to do with writing or intel, I think it could definitely impact.
There's a certain number of processes and data compilation and all of that type of stuff that's able to be streamlined and done by artificial intelligence in ways that frees up humans and others to be able to think more creatively and be able to spend time with the things that AI isn't able to do.
Welcome back to our third and final phone-free check-in, where we sit down with Olivia once again after the 24 hours is up to see how it went.
It felt really weird, was isolating in a sense. Just in general, there was like a lot of people reaching out to me that day, and I don't think I necessarily recognized how much people do text me until then, and then I was like, oh, a lot of my communication is actually dependent on texting. Even when I wanted to be productive, I didn't feel like I could be because I felt like I was mentally preoccupied by something that I technically couldn't do. The most refreshing aspect of this was just really like focusing on who I was with in front of me rather than who might be texting me or something like that. So I'd say that's probably like the biggest benefit and thing that I want to implement from this that I kind of noticed.
From the experiment of disconnection from our screens to the profound impact of the pandemic on college students' connection, we've explored the complexity of human interaction. Remember, connecting with one another lies in the delicate balance between technology, society, and the individual. We hope tonight's show has sparked thoughts and ideas and maybe even inspired you to take a step back and consider the depth of your own human connection. You can continue to connect with us on Instagram and TikTok, and as always, don't forget to stay connected.
Connect.
연결하다.
미판자이.